My name is Rachel Miller, and I live in a quiet suburb in Ohio. I've always thought of myself as a strong woman, someone who held it together even when everything around me threatened to fall apart. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for the night my son whispered those three words. It's strange how a few syllables, softly spoken in the quiet of night, can change your life forever. I had Ethan when I was only 23. His father, Michael, and I were college sweethearts. We got married young, fueled by a love that was passionate and naive. For a few years, everything seemed picture perfect. We had Ethan, bought a small house with a picket fence, and built a life from scratch. But as the years rolled on, cracks began to form in our fairy tale. Michael lost his job when Ethan was 7, and instead of getting back up, he fell into a dark hole of disappointment, bitterness, and eventually, addiction. It was a slow unraveling. I begged him to go to therapy to let me help, but he became a ghost of the man I married. I held on for Ethan, thinking a child needed both parents, but I realized too late that staying was more damaging than leaving. We divorced when Ethan turned 9. Michael didn't fight it. In fact, he didn't say much at all. He just signed the papers, packed a bag, and left. Ethan stood at the window for hours that day, waiting for his dad to come back. He never did. I became both mother and father overnight. I worked 2 jobs, one as a nurse during the day and a cashier at a grocery store during weekends. There were nights I'd come home and collapse on the couch, shoes still on, uniform stained with coffee and antiseptic. Ethan would tiptoe to me with a glass of water or quietly cover me with a blanket. He never complained, even when I forgot things like his parent-teacher meetings or when I couldn't afford the latest toy his friends were raving about. Ethan grew up too fast. At 12, he was already more mature than most of the men I knew. He took care of me more than I took care of him sometimes. That's the thing about children. They notice everything, even when you think they don't. One Friday evening in late November, I came home to find Ethan sitting on the couch with his school books spread out in front of him. His face lit up when he saw me, but I noticed something behind that smile, tired eyes, a distant look. I brushed it off as school stress. After all, middle school can be brutal. "Hey, sweetheart," I said, dropping my keys on the kitchen counter. "How was school?" He shrugged. "It was okay. Mr. Carter gave us a pop quiz, but I think I did all right." I walked over and kissed the top of his head. "I'm proud of you, Ethan. You're doing great." He smiled, but again I noticed the tiredness. I thought about asking him more, but the exhaustion from a 14-hour shift made my body heavy. We ordered pizza that night, watched a movie, and cuddled on the couch. It was one of those rare evenings where everything felt peaceful. Later, I tucked him into bed. He was almost 13 now, but still liked when I sat at the edge of his bed for a few minutes, like we used to when he was little. He looked at me with those soft brown eyes, the same eyes he had as a baby. "Mom," he whispered, his voice barely audible. "Yes, baby." He hesitated. "Do you think people can just disappear even when they're right next to you?" His question caught me off guard. I gently brushed his hair back. "What do you mean?" He looked away. "Nothing. Just a dumb thought." I leaned down and kissed his forehead. "I'll always be here, Ethan. You know that, right?" He nodded slowly. "I know." I turned off the light and closed his door halfway. As I made my way to bed, something felt off. My mother's intuition kept nagging at me. I tried to shake it off, telling myself he was just dealing with the weight of growing up. Kids say strange things sometimes. But I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at the ceiling, heart uneasy. Around 2 a.m., I heard soft footsteps near my bedroom door. I sat up just as Ethan appeared in the doorway. He looked pale, like he hadn't slept at all. "Ethan?" I whispered. "Is everything okay?" He walked in slowly and sat at the foot of my bed. The moonlight poured through the window, illuminating his face. He was trembling. "Can I sleep here tonight?" he asked. "Of course." I moved over and opened the blanket for him. He crawled in and wrapped his arms around me tightly. I held him close, heart pounding. Then he whispered the 3 words that changed everything. "I need help." I froze. 3 simple words. 3 devastating, brave, world-shattering words. My little boy, my brave, quiet, responsible son, was struggling. And I didn't even see it. I tightened my arms around him. "Okay," I whispered, my voice cracking. "Okay, I'm here. I've got you." We didn't sleep that night. Instead, we talked. Ethan opened up in a way he never had before. He told me how he'd been feeling empty, lost, how he felt like he had to be strong for me all the time, but inside, he was falling apart. He said he felt like a burden and was scared of being forgotten like his dad had forgotten us. Tears rolled down my cheeks as I listened. I told him he was never a burden, never alone, that he was my world and always would be. We stayed curled up until the sun rose, and by morning, I had made a decision. That Monday, I took a leave of absence from work. I contacted a family therapist. We both began counseling, Ethan with a child therapist, and me with someone who could help me be a better support for him. It wasn't easy. There were moments of guilt, where I questioned how I missed the signs. But therapy taught us both to stop carrying the blame for things we couldn't control. Ethan slowly began to smile again. Not the polite, forced smile I had grown used to, but a real one, the kind that lit up his whole face. He joined a local soccer team, made new friends, and even started writing stories. He said writing helped him understand his feelings, and it gave him a place to express what he couldn't say out loud. One afternoon, about 6 months later, I was making sandwiches in the kitchen when he came in holding a notebook. "Can I read you something?" he asked shyly. "Of course." He sat at the table and began reading a short story he had written. It was about a boy lost in a dark forest, calling out for help. Just when he thought no one would answer, a voice came, soft but strong, guiding him home. By the end of the story, I was in tears again. "It's beautiful, Ethan. Just like you." He smiled that real smile again and said, "Thanks, Mom, for hearing me." "I'll always hear you," I replied, "no matter what." Today, Ethan is 16. He volunteers at a local mental health center, helping younger kids find their voice like he once needed to find his. We still go to therapy once a month, more as a check-in than a necessity now. And we talk. Every single day. We made a promise that night. No more pretending. No more hiding pain behind silence. Those 3 words he whispered, "I need help," saved us both. They taught me that strength doesn't always look like silence or holding it all in. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is speak. And because he spoke, my world changed. For the better. Forever.